I'm so glad to welcome you here this morning. And I feel like God is also here welcoming us this morning. And he is excited that we're here and to meet with us. One of the things that I use sometimes in my quiet time is an app called Lectio 365. And this week, one of their prayers, just as they were starting, really hit me. And so I just was wondering if we can just start our time together with that. I'm going to read it for you. It says, God of welcome, you invite me into your family. I sit at your table and savor your word to me. Help me to receive all the nourishment that you have for me today. Because every day he's there. When we come to church, he's there. But every day through the week, he is there and he has nourishment available to us. And so just if we can start today with just this posture of, God, help me to receive whatever you have. So would you just stand? I'm going to just read that one more time, and then we're just going to dive into praise and worship, knowing that he is here. God of welcome, you invite me into your family. I sit at your table and savor your word to me. Help me to receive all the nourishment that you have for me today. Let's worship our King.
Dry bones awake, prepare the way.
hearts and we started our service with that prayer, God, help me to receive all the nourishment that you have for us today. And there is nourishment every day. And I don't know if you're like me, but for so many years I would struggle in my quiet time with Jesus. I'd get on track and I'd fall off track and get into a groove and fall off that groove. And about 5 or 6 years ago, Jesus did a really big work in my life. And he started to show me that I didn't have things together quite as much as I thought. It was super disorienting to me. I'd grown up in church my whole life, and to actually see these things in myself that weren't nice and weren't pretty. And I was like, who am I? And there was the only place that I could come and feel that peace and feel like it was going to be okay was when I would come to Jesus. And so I just was desperate for him, just spending time with him every second that I could, because I didn't feel like I would survive if I didn't. And I think sometimes there might be other people here who've had that struggle. And so we're going to sing this song, and it talks about abiding in him and depending on him. And I wonder if for some of us our prayer needs to be, Jesus, help me to depend on you. Help me to even see that I need you. Because when we see that need that we have, suddenly it's not work to go spend time with him. We just know he's there, and we know that we need him. So let's sing this together. And if this, if you don't feel like you depend on him, or you know it here, but it hasn't reached here, let's just ask him, God, give us what we need to understand that we need you. teach us to sit with you, receive the nourishment we need from you. You are the source of all of our life. We love you. You give life, you are love. You are magnificent. And we look forward to the day when the whole earth joins together in worship and praise to you, because you are worth it. You are worthy of all of it. And we thank you for how you come and meet us and you nourish us. You nourish our hearts, Lord. Lord, continue to be present in this place as we hear from your word. We love you. Amen. You may be seated.
I recently read something by a California pastor named Scott Scruggs, where he was describing the difference between two types of conversations. He described how he and his spouse have improved their communication by clarifying whether certain conversations are feelings conversations or problem solvings conversations. And what he said was helpful to me, because sometimes I'll be telling my wife, Corrine, about my day or a challenge I'm facing, and she may go into problem solving mode. She'll start telling me what I should do, what about this, what about that. And if I'm not really thinking well, I will react negatively, and I will say, even sometimes kind of aggressively, I don't need that right now. Don't try to fix anything. I just want you to listen. Now, if I'm better equipped, in a better headspace to do this a little bit better, I will say, this is a feeling conversation, not a problem-solving conversation. Just listen to me. If I'm doing it right, that's how I'll say it. It's good to clarify sometimes, right? What kind of conversation are you having? So it's very common where I will pull something frozen out of the freezer, some chicken or something like that. My wife will come home and I will say to her, do you want to do these chicken breasts or these chicken thighs on the grill? Do you want to air fry them? Do you want to broil them? What do you want to do? Add rice, add a sauce? Is that a problem-solving conversation or a feelings conversation? What is it? Problem solving, yes. That's a problem-solving conversation. My wife works for AHS. She's a nurse. She will come home quite regularly and be exasperated about the stress and the toll on her team and the referrals that are just overwhelming and the chaos of her work world. And if she starts to unload this with me, I will sometimes go into problem-solving mode. And I will say, have you thought about this? Have you talked to so-and-so? And she will stop me and she will say, I don't need that right now. I just want you to hear me. I have to recognize that sometimes she just wants to offload her problems, what she's feeling. Some conversations are feeling conversations, some are problem-solving conversations, and it's good to know the difference. Now, I bring this up because the text I'm going to teach this morning is a problem-solving text. I'm going to unpack some commentary from the New Testament book of James, chapter 4. If you want to access that on a device, you want to see this on a phone or something like that, hit that QR code. If you've got the YouVersion Bible app installed, it'll take you right there. Now, before we unpack some of James 4, a couple of reminders. We've been saying throughout the course of this series that even though we call the book of James a book, it's a letter. James, we think, is the brother or half-brother of Jesus. We believe he's a local church pastor in Metro Jerusalem. His intended audience are people, Jesus-following people scattered throughout the Mediterranean basin, many of them struggling. Many of them experiencing difficulty, persecution. And so James writes to them to encourage them, to build them up, to coach them, to implore them to stay faithful, to hang in with Jesus and stay with him. So as we examine a portion of chapter 4, I remind you again, James is problem solving, and he does it rather boldly. You might even say his words are kind of pointy. It's a little bit aggressive. So no matter where you are on the spiritual continuum, no matter what's going on in your world right now, be open to the wisdom of James this morning, because there may be some wisdom in his words that might help you with a problem that you're facing. And I don't know what you might be facing. You might be facing a work thing right now. something that's impacting what you do for employment. Your prevailing issue might be a relationship issue. An important relationship might be a little sideways right now. Maybe things aren't the way they should be with somebody you love. Your problem could be a financial challenge. It might be a habit you can't break. It could be that your biggest problem is sitting right beside you and you're not sure what to do next. The possibilities are endless. So James is writing to people with lots of problems. And we've talked about a few problems already in this series: anger, ignoring the plight of the poor, and the marginalized, superiority, that sense of superiority, greed, careless words. Those are some of the ones we've talked about. Now in chapter 4, you're going to see this is very timely because James is going to confront conflict and division. He's going to address hostility, polarization between members of the community. And he's going to use that issue as a starting point for diagnosing something that might be more deep or something beyond the presenting issue. He's going to make a claim about underlying causes, even as he begins to point to a solution. So what he's going to do, watch for this, he's going to tell his original audience that it's possible that the real problem may be a bigger problem than their perception of what they think their issue is. And I'll try my best to show you that this is probably also true of many of us. So let me show you what I mean. This is how chapter 4 begins. James writes, "What is causing the quarrels and fights among you? Why are you people fighting?" He says, "Why can't you get along?" Now, if you know the New Testament even a little bit, you may know that there's endless conflict in the early church. Lots of cliques, lots of camps, lots of division. There's factions, and certain people are loyal to this teacher or that teacher, or they have this interpretation of some text or that interpretation. There's lots of arguing about what it means to be a faithful follower of Jesus. Isn't it great that we live at a time when most of the conflict and division in the church is over, right? Isn't it nice to live at a time when religious people are unified and happy and in lockstep? I have the gift of sarcasm, in case you don't know that about me yet. So as he writes this letter, James is a significant leader in the early church, especially in Jerusalem. And I don't know, maybe his question is a little bit sarcastic. He knows why people are fighting. He knows the cause of the division. He knows that there's different sides, there's different arguments going on, and he maybe could even solve some of these theological issues just by making some bold declarations as a church leader, as the brother of Jesus after all. Maybe he could say, here's what it is. But I want you to notice that what James does here, well, he doesn't really seem interested in what the people are fighting about. It's not the what that he's concerned about. There's zero sense in which James says, hey, tell me what the issues are, give me both sides of the debate, and I'll kind of help with this. He doesn't really declare one person's conviction right or more biblical or anything like that. In fact, he does something interesting. He answers his question with another question. What's causing all the fights and the quarrels? Don't they come from the evil desires within you? When someone answers their question with another question, they're probably making a pretty strong point. James says, it's possible that your conflicts, these arguments, whatever you're worked up about, may not be about your circumstance. What has you worked up may be something else. It may not be the dumb thing somebody said or did. The source of your angst may be something that's happening inside you. What's got you mad may not be somebody else's words or theology. The real problem may be you. In other words, your problem may not be out there or with them. It's possible that the problem is right here. So James is trying to get his friends to shift their attention away from other people, other circumstances, toward their inner lives. Essentially, he's saying, what if your biggest problem isn't them or that, or your dumb friend or boss? What if it's something taking place in your soul? Are you willing to consider whether James' teaching is relevant for you this morning. What's causing the fights and quarrels among you? Is it possible that they're coming from evil desires that are at war within you? Verse 2, you want what you don't have, and so you scheme and kill to get it. You're jealous of what others have, but you can't get it. So you fight and wage war to take it away from them. It's pretty intense. Now, I looked at a lot of different opinions on this portion of the text, and some of the scholars think this isn't hyperbole. In the ancient world, there are sharp disagreements in the culture and in the church, and some people are so passionate about their convictions that on certain matters, they'll resort to violence, even murder, to defend their position. Again, so glad to be living at a time when we've overcome being incited to violence because of our deeply rooted religious convictions. That was also sarcasm, okay? James says, you want something, you can't have it, so you fight and you wage war. He's speaking about appetites, desires, unmet desires that may be impacting you. It's super easy for those of us kind of walking around today that when somebody says something or does something that's maddening, we'll lash out, we'll say, that's irritating me so much. But James says the real issue might be something going on internally, your desires, something you want, and that desire is impacting you in ways that you might not even realize. Now, I want to show you something to lighten the mood here just for a minute to illustrate the point. We could use a little bit of a break from kind of an intense text. So I want to show you about a 1-minute YouTube clip which perfectly illustrates human nature. A few Christmases ago, a dad named John Scott uploaded a video of his kids opening up presents. So watch one brother open up an iPad and watch him gush with delight, but don't miss the reaction of the younger brother. Watch how he responds to his brother's cool gift. The younger brother is the kid on the left. Watch this.
Christmas ever.
Now, it's easy to laugh at a little kid, right? But are we really all that different? You want something, you can't have it. So you fight and you wage war. It's the reaction of a kid, but we don't necessarily grow out of such behaviors when we become adults. We just get more subtle about it. What may begin as a quiet desire to possess, what starts out as a growing conviction, can morph and become a dangerous soul obsession. I don't know how much you're reading the scriptures these days. If your answer is rare or never, I'm not here to incite guilt, but if you spend any time in it, you'll realize these ancient words are still incredibly relevant. It's loaded with relatable stories. Our scriptures of envy and conflict and dangerous desire. The Old Testament, the Hebrew scriptures are loaded with narratives about envy and power and money and inheritances. You think the concept of being an influencer is new? It's old. It's been around for a long time. The desire to be noticed has been around for centuries. Leaders craving power, wanting to be perceived as right. Men and women battling for control, including in the realm of theology. This is not a new thing. And if I'm being honest, and I try to be honest when I speak, if I'm being honest, most of the time when I'm frustrated with somebody else, it's because they have something that I don't. They may have talent, they may have opportunity or momentum or access or conviction or a platform I don't have, and I get jealous. I have an envy issue. And James is diagnosing it in me. He says, you have a desire problem. It's doing some damage. And he's not done. He's going to push a little harder. He says, yet you don't have what you want because you don't ask God for it. And even when you ask, you don't get it because your motives are all wrong. You want only what will give you pleasure. That actually is a pretty good summary of my prayer life a lot of the times. I don't have because I don't ask God. I don't always involve or seek God for the real stuff of life sometimes. And even when I do, mostly what I'm doing is trying to get God to do what I want him to do. I'm trying to bend his will to mine. With that line, you want only what will give you pleasure. Some commentators point out that James is using wording very close to the words of Jesus in the story of the prodigal son. At the beginning of that story, Jesus describes a son asking for his inheritance early so he can indulge his desires. He wants to spend his father's money on his own pleasures. See how James is not talking about feelings here? He's solving a problem. James says the source of your problems may not be something out there. It may be unmet desires. Your problem might be that you're making it all about you, that you're making yourself the center. And all of this brings me to what I hope is an important pause point in the message to consider something about faith, about the way a lot of us relate to God. Please be okay with me pointing out that sometimes, often, our love for God, our commitment to him is conditional. Sometimes our faithfulness to God is directly tied to how faithful we sense he is to us. So it's easy to love God and sing his praise and worship him when things are good, when we're feeling blessed, when God seems to be providing for us, when we feel comfortable and secure. We often follow more faithfully, and then when the opposite is true, things go off the rails a bit. So it's pretty insightful what James is doing. Yeah, we have conflict. I have conflict. We all have conflict at times. I've got some relationships. I've got issues. You do too. And in my most honest moments, rare as they may be, the real issue may be it's something going on right here. It's just my desire, what I want my way. So much of my life revolves around me. And so what James is saying is that when you get frustrated, when you think you got problems, maybe that's a good time to do a heart check and just say, is it just me making it about me? So earlier I suggested that you probably came here this morning with a couple of problems weighing heavy on you. This text is just asking you to discern whether or not the real issue is not so much out there, but in here. Now watch how James doubles down in verse 4. You adulterers, ouch. Don't you realize that friendship with the world makes you an enemy of God? I'll say it again. If you want to be a friend of the world, you make yourself an enemy of God. Now, I've got to dig into this just a little bit because some of you might be feeling a little bit triggered right now. If you grew up like I did in a religious environment, conservative religious environment, you may have had verses like this thrown in your face. In my family, in the home church environment where I grew up, friendship with the world, or as other translations call it, worldliness, meant indulging in taboo sins like substance use or abuse or sexual sin or just generally hanging around with the wrong people, the obvious external stuff. But I'm confident that's not what's concerning James. James is poking at what matters most to you. He's asking you to identify what's at the core of the core for you. What is it that's at the center of your life? Look, think about it like this. Our lives largely revolve around layers of concern. So at the outer layer are minor or peripheral concerns, the basics, like the stuff we got to get done, the to-do lists, the projects, the shopping, the tasks, the bills, the meal prep, the routine responsibilities, all of that stuff. That's kind of minor. Then one layer closer are primary concerns, the deeper things, the things that matter more. Relationships, family, friendships, taking care of our health, raising up the next generation, stuff that matters more than the outside layer. But there's one more layer, there's a core, a center. And it's in the center layer, the core of the core. Whatever's there, that's what matters most to you. And James says, there's only room in the center for one thing. Anybody want to guess what James thinks should reside in your core? We are in church. Okay, if you're wondering. It's God. It's Jesus. Now, I'm trying to avoid cliches or speak simplistically. I'm being honest about my own failings in this. I've been following Jesus pretty much my whole adult life. I've been trying to make him the center of my existence. But for much of my life, it's been Jesus and something else. Jesus and success, Jesus and security, Jesus and comfort. And James, admittedly, kind of harshly, calls this adultery. Because James says there's only room for one thing at your core. Not God and success or God and comfort. James knows how difficult it is for us not to make it God and something, God and career and significance and influence and my desires. And to be clear, I don't think there's anything in this text telling us we shouldn't be concerned about relationships and we should be, he's not saying don't be worried about long-term security. Like there's nothing here that says don't be diligent about your career. There's nothing about accomplishments being bad things. He just is suggesting that these things become more distant concerns, but there should be a primary concern that takes up residence in your core, the center of your being, because if it's something other than what ought to be there, he says that can be an idol. And by the way, when you hear idol, don't think little gold statue. That's not what he's talking about. An idol is anything that you place in the center of your life that's a God substitute. It's almost anything else about which you would say, this matters to me more than anything. So whatever it is that's going on with you right now, whatever your concerning issues are, if you're in conflict, if you can think beyond your desires, your motivations, beyond that outer layer stuff, James is challenging you to think about what's at the core of your life. You may think it's God, your sense of the divine. You may pray, worship regularly, be in a small group, serve. It may look like, by appearances, you have something very significant at the core, but it could be that there's something else there. Do you really trust God with what matters most? What's at the core? Now, listen, this is kind of heavy stuff for the third weekend in November. It is. Sorry that this is kind of aggressive, but now that we're here, how about being honest about what's at the core of your existence? What matters to you more than anything? Listen, I'm right there with you on this stuff. Lots of things compete for space in my heart, my comforts, my cravings, my successes, my image. There's a constant battle between God and blank, God and something. And I know I can't resolve my issues through effort or just, stealing it up. I can't fix my flawed heart or selfish desires by myself. But if I want to do something about my tendency to make it about me, I need help because nobody solves their deepest problems, their heart problems on their own. The desires you can't control. You're longing for personal gratification, and it comes down to whether or not it's you at the center. And this is what the scripture calls sin. I think sin is really misunderstood. It's more than just bad behavior or immorality. Sin is basically self-indulgence. Sin is making yourself your Lord. A sinful life is a life focused on the self. But there's good news. There better be, right? Otherwise, this is kind of depressing. So let me give you some of the hope that we all need again from James, verse 5. Do you think the scriptures have no meaning? They say that God is passionate, that the Spirit he has placed within us should be faithful to him. And he gives grace generously. As the scriptures say, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So hang with me. This is good news here. Actually, this is great news. James has been punching pretty hard in this section. Again, to recap one more time, we're people who fight and argue. Our envy causes us to plot and scheme. We ask God for stuff all the time, but rarely are we ready to admit that our prayers are mostly about trying to get God to give us what we want most. And when he doesn't deliver, we sometimes turn on him and blame him, and we give up on trusting him. So what does God do? He gives you grace. He gives you grace. Grace is the power of God to do what you cannot do for yourself. Grace is yet another second chance after lots and lots of second chances. Grace is freedom from guilt and shame. Grace is unmerited divine love and patience. Grace is God's heart to forgive and bless despite how often we fall short of living righteously. Grace is the reason for the arrival of Jesus on this earth. The reason Jesus came here was to offer grace to anybody who would receive it. That means if you're an atheist or an agnostic or not even sure what you are, there's grace for you. If you're a cynic, there's grace for you. If you're a deconstructor, there's grace for you. If you're in conflict because someone let you down, there's grace for that other person. And if you are the source of the problem or the conflict or the tension, there's also grace for you. If you've been unfaithful in your marriage, if you've messed up your kids, if you've hurt someone, there's grace for you. If your whole life has pretty much been about yourself, there's grace for you. Now, some people, when they hear stuff like that, what I just said in the last few sentences, it causes some people to say, well, that certainly lowers the bar. I mean, makes things sound really easy, right? There's got to be, what about? This response is not original with me, but it fits. Grace doesn't lower the bar. It just clarifies who's holding the bar. Jesus is holding the bar. Not you, not me, or anybody else. Salvation is by his name. He's the one who's merciful. He's the one with grace for you. So back to where we started. This is not a feelings text. This is a problem-solving text. It's about our need for grace. And the biggest struggle that most of us have with grace is knowing how to receive it. So do you know how to receive God's grace? James speaks to the struggle right there in verse 6. If you'll notice the quote marks at the end there, James is quoting something else or someone else. James is quoting from the Proverbs. That's a quote of Proverbs 3:34. James says there's only one way, one posture, one way to receive God's grace. You got to humble yourself. By citing these ancient words from the Proverbs, he's providing an option for those who say, no, I got this. I'm good. I'm fine on my own. James says God gives grace to the humble, to the broken, those who know they're a mess, and those who know that a lot of their problems are self-inflicted. And if that's you, guess what? You're primed for grace. You're right there. This is verse 7. And with this, we'll start to close this off. So, James says, humble yourself. Humble yourself before God. Now listen, I know that's a big ask. That ain't easy. But right there, that is the essence of faith. Faith is not fundamentally about going to church and engaging in religious activity and avoiding certain behaviors. Faith is about owning and being the broken, fragile, needy, self-absorbed person you really are. The essence of faith is saying to God, God, I need grace. I need grace. If you don't think he's listening or can hear your prayer, there's grace. There's redemption for you. There's life for you. There's always grace. So before we get to the end of this gathering and send each other out to the places where we live, learn, work, and play and pray. I'm going to invite you to have a brief personal prayer time here. So if you can do something even in your body to get a prayerful posture, I'm not sure what it is. Even though you're in a room full of people, I'd like for just a few moments for you to get alone, just you and God. These next few moments are just between you and your Heavenly Father. And so again, if it helps to kind of take a prayerful posture, open palms, kneel, bow your head, whatever you want to do. If there's a way to just physically demonstrate your humble inner spirit, do that. So listen, the message of the Christmas that's approaching, the story of the New Testament, the word from James in chapter 4 is, there's grace down here. God cares about your conflicts and your problems, but he has not moved towards you merely to tend to your peripheral issues, nor even to fix your primary problems. He's moved toward you to solve your biggest problem, the one at the core of the core, the one you cannot solve on your own, your brokenness, because there's grace. So if this sounds like a prayer you can pray with integrity, pray something like this. Jesus, no matter what's in my past or what weighs heavily on my mind, I trust and believe that you can hear me, that there's grace even for me. I thank you for it and humbly receive it. If you prayed a prayer like that, I promise you, the prayer Jesus always answers is the desperate cry for grace. So Jesus, I speak for everyone present when I express gratitude that you left the heights of heaven and humbled yourself and took on flesh and served, did not demand to be served, to the point of death on a cross. You conquered death and are raised again to the heights so that we could have grace down here. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for meeting me, for meeting all of us right where we're at. Thank you for your grace, for making a way, for solving our ultimate problem. Remind us today, this week, especially in this season as we approach Advent, that no matter what we've done or what we're facing, there's grace. And for this, we cannot thank you enough. We pray this in your great name, Jesus. Amen.
Would you stand and join us? Were creation suddenly articulate with 1,000 tongues to lift one cry? From north to south and east to west, we'd hear Christ be magnified. Were the whole earth echoing his eminence, his name would burst from sea and sky. From rivers to the mountain tops, we hear Christ be magnified. Oh, I'll stand strong and worship you. And if it puts me in the fire, I'll rejoice 'cause you're there too. I won't be formed by feelings. I'll hold fast to what is true. And if the cross brings transformation, then I'll be crucified with you. 'Cause death is just a doorway into resurrection life. If I join you in the suffering, then I'll join you when you rise. When you return in glory with all the angels and the saints, my heart will still be singing and my song will be the same. Oh, Christ be magnified. Let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified in the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified. Let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified in the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me.
Man, thank you, team, for leading us. Thank you, Pastor Greg, for leading us through James's problem-solving words. You can grab a seat for just a moment. This will be the part of the service where we continue in worship through our tithes and our offering. We don't pass a plate around, but one of the ways that we've done in the past just couple months is once a month, had somebody from the congregation come to share a story of generosity, a story that shaped them and the way they are generous. And so I'd love to invite my friend Dave Sawatsky up. Everyone give it up for Dave. And Dave in the first service. So one of my top 100 favorite things about St. Albert Alliance Church is Dave's laugh. And in the first service, there was like lots of people laughed at the YouTube video, but when the kid fell over, Dave laughed louder than anyone has ever laughed. And I said, Dave, you got to replicate that in this service. And he didn't really. So that's okay. Dave, thanks for sharing, man.
You sure you want to give me a mic twice in a day? All right, well. Hi, my name is Dave. And my story of generosity, or this one, goes back to a long, long time ago, 2003, 2004. I was an intern in Edmonton in a church in the North End, and part of my internship was, I was completing a degree from a small town in Saskatchewan, and I was, interning. You've said that 3 times now, so stick to the notes. In the end of June, the Bible college I graduated from put on a junior high retreat, and I was going back to help participate in that. And I was driving in my prized possession at the time, a 1987 silver Honda Civic, and the piece de resistance was the cow seat covers. It was the talk of town, or just the small bits of people who knew who I was. I'm driving through Macklin, Saskatchewan. Shout out to Macklin. And I'm going at probably faster pace than I need to be going because I'm in my 20s and I have no respect for law or my own safety. And I'm cruising along, and all of a sudden my cruising became coasting. There was no loud bang, no nothing, but my car lost power. And I just coasted to the edge, and I tried to start it. It didn't start. The pedal wasn't pedaling, and I was powerless. So I got a ride back into town, got a tow truck dispatched, and to a local mechanic and was able to get a hold of someone at the Bible college. They came and picked me up. We did the retreat, and life was grand, but I have this problem looming of the car that wasn't carring. It was a beautiful paperweight with cow seat covers. Got a ride back to Edmonton and eventually got a call from the mechanic, and my timing belt disappeared. It snapped, it was ruptured, I don't know, it was gone, and significant irreparable damage was done to my car. I know the long skinny one makes it go, the short fat one stops it, and sometimes there's a third pedal with a sticky thing. That's about the end of my mechanical knowledge, but it was gonna cost thousands of dollars to repair this car. And I was an intern, and interns don't make a lot of money, but they do make a lot of mess. And so I couldn't just replace this car. I had about maybe $1,500 disposable, not really that disposable at my, so like I was able to go pay the repair assessment. They said they could get the car scrapped somewhere, and I began the journey of being without a car, and just feeling really scared and powerless. And I'm not originally from Edmonton. I didn't have like a lot of just natural support, so I just prayed, God, you know what I need. Would you provide me with a reliable vehicle? And began to just sort of go on trying to figure that out. And I checked the newspaper, I checked other listings, and just there wasn't really anything standing out. And so the last 2 cars that I had, including that one, had been people just taking a chance. I mean, I bought my first car for $500. That one, I think maybe $1,000. So like, not like flying around with amazing resources, but okay, God, would you provide? I also have a tendency to just over-rely on humor when I'm feeling stressed, overwhelmed. So I was very stressed and overwhelmed. So I went up to anyone in my church that I was interning at who had a really nice car and say, you know what? I've been praying about it, and I'm willing to take your car off your hands for about $1,500. And usually there's some polite giggles, sometimes a belly laugh, a lot of eye rolling. But every time someone laughed, oh, this is fun. I'm going to keep doing this, and who knows. It's almost time for service to start, and one of our elders is walking in, and his wife had probably the car that I envied the most. It was a silver, like a metallic blue Volkswagen TDI Jetta, and just so beautiful. So I said, let me tell you about my story. I'm willing to take this car off your hands for $1,500, and just no eye roll, no belly laugh, just nothing, like literal crickets. Just a blank stare, and it was so awkward. And like, I'm used to awkward situations. I create them all the time. But I just began backpedaling. Obviously I offended you, I'm sorry. It was a joke, I promise. I'm really sorry. And service was starting, put it behind me and go do our thing. And so church is over, and a bunch of the young adults are going out for lunch. And I actually invited this elder's son to join us. Hey, Devin, we're going out for lunch. Why don't you join us? He's like, sorry, yeah, we do lunch with my family every Sunday. I'm like, okay, fair enough. We're at the restaurant, and I get a phone call, and it's Devin. I'm like, oh, hey, Devin, what's up? Well, what are you doing right now? I'm out for lunch. We invited you. You didn't want to come. Okay, when you're done, can you come over to my house? And then hangs up. It wasn't really friendly. It wasn't. I'm like, uh-oh. I don't know about you, but when anyone wants to talk to me one-on-one, rarely is it, Dave, you're a really great human being. Here's a bowl full of 20s. Oh, man. I bet you he talked to his dad, and I went too far. Okay, so I'm doing mental gymnastics. How am I going to undo this thing? And so finish lunch. I get a ride because I don't have a car, and I get dropped to his house, and I begin walking up the steps to their house. I hit the first or second step before getting onto their patio is the word I'm looking for. It's the first day with the new tongue. Bear with me. And he comes out the door, and it's actually can you come around back? Come in the back door. I'm like, oh boy, this is bad. Like, I can't even come in the front door. They don't want any record that I was at their house. This is terrible. I'm just spiraling in my head. And come around, go through the gate, and like walk into the back door. And he comes out the back. Actually, let's go to the garage. Oh no. This is so bad, it's gonna get physical. So, okay. Like, man, I'm just like mentally preparing myself. How can I just make things right? And we walk in, and I'm preparing for the most intense tongue lashing. And then his parents are in the garage. I'm like, oh, this is, oh boy. And so I'm preparing myself for whatever is gonna come, but I wasn't prepared for what actually came. My friend Devin took the keys to his car, and he handed them to me and said, get your car out of my parents' garage. And the mom's standing in front of the Jetta saying, not this one. Take the red 95 Dodge Neon and get to stepping. I was speechless. And if you've known me for any amount of time, you realize how actually rare that is that I am speechless. But I gave him a hug, and I was just so grateful. I had a need, and God met it in a way that I did not expect. Every one of us has time, talents, and treasures. And they're gifts from God. And he gives us the opportunity to partner with him or to reinvest them in either people or places. Places like Stack. If you've got time, talent, or even a little bit of resources, treasure, I invite you to partner, to invest, because what might seem like a small thing can make a huge difference in someone's life. And it doesn't always have to be a big, flashy thing. Not that a 95 Neon is that flashy, but for me, it was everything. I got my freedom back. I got the capacity to serve in the ways that I like to serve because I could transport myself. And because a 20-something just heard a story and felt God stir in his heart to live with an open hand, to live generous. And so that's my story of generosity.
Thanks so much, Dave. Appreciate you, man. So, church family, what does it look like for you to live generously? What's Jesus inviting you into in this season? Up on the screen behind me is a snapshot of all the different ways you can give. Next week, my friend, drummer, Pastor David here, David is going to give us a more comprehensive update of, hey, here's our year-end finances and where we're at. And as you've heard me say, we're continuing to lag behind. And so, church family, what does it look like for you to continue to be generous? Thank you for how you have been generous. Thank you for your faithfulness in the midst of this season. Hey, just 3 things I want to communicate before we send each other out with our corporate benediction. First is actually a prayer request for our student community. Next week, myself, Pastor Abby, our youth leaders, and our students, there's about 150 of us going to Camp Nackaman for our youth retreat. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a blast. We're there from Friday to Sunday. It's probably the most significant time in our youth ministry calendar of where we see Jesus move in significant ways. And so, church family, I invite you, would you be praying into those spaces with us over this next weekend ahead, that God would move in significant ways, that God would speak and show up and the miraculous would happen. Second, also tied to prayer. Maybe you're here this morning and you need prayer. Myself and Pastor Greg will be available after the service. Those around you would love to pray with you as well. Maybe you just need to slow down and continue to take that posture to say, Lord, I need this humility. I need time with you. And if that's the case, this room is open and available for you to spend some more time in prayer. Finally, up on the screen behind me is not different ways, is our way to connect. You can text the number up on the screen, new, if this is your first time or you've been around for the last couple weeks, and one of our team members will text you back. Probably every time I get up here still, I still get text to my phone, new. That's not how it works. I have nothing to offer you or to give you, so I apologize for that, David. He texted me last service. You don't have to text me new. Text the number on the screen, new. Here's another way to get connected, though. I want you to look around you for just a moment. Look around you, past the person that is your problem, as Pastor Greg alluded to earlier, and you see people and faces that you do not know, that you do not recognize. Nobody has yet come to me and said, actually, I know everybody. No, you don't. Chat with somebody new today. Meet somebody new. Get to know somebody new. I'm always hesitant in saying it and pushing that invite because it's uncomfortable. And yet, as somebody was walking out this morning, they're like, wow, I had one of the most significant conversations I've had in months with somebody. Just from this kind of awkward, hey, I'm so-and-so. Break the ice a little bit, embrace the awkward. Does that sound all right? All right. Church family, would you stand with me if you're able as we send each other out with our corporate benediction? Let's read this together. As we go to be the church in the places where we live, learn, work, and play, may we walk in humility and let God's grace, not our ego, shape our steps. Amen. Go in peace. Have a great week.